Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of Accountants Therapy meets software for MTD together. Don't forget, this is being recorded. We are obviously, if you've got your Eventbrite link, it will be sent to you through there. If not, it will be on YouTube later on. If you've got any questions, please fire them into the Q&A. It's really easy for us to then pick them up in there, and the chat box should be open, which it is. Fantastic, so get those emojis in there. We're going in for a real treat today. Unfortunately, Mark Dorrell couldn't make it, but we have got Paul Onions from Bright, who was a bit of a legend in our software speed dating. It was great to have him back for another session. So without further ado, Paul, please show us a bit about Bright.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Tom, for the opportunity, really, and good afternoon, everyone. Going to spend the first sort of 25, maybe 30 minutes, because I have a tendency to drone on a little bit, telling you a little bit about our software generally, and I'll actually show you the software working itself, so you can get a good feel for what we're doing at Bright and hopefully why we're doing it, because I think that's super important as well. So let me start by sharing my screen, and hopefully then you'll see a beautiful bright slide. Tom, if you can just give me a nod. Wonderful, thank you
Yep,
very
good to
much.
go.
So I wanted to start by just telling you a little bit about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So for me, making tax digital is more than just a tax issue. And so um, we all know that it's going to affect a significant number of our customers. We already know the challenges. I think I saw probably on an accounting web note last week that about 100,000 of the taxpayers that are falling under MTD this year have now been signed up for it. So only, I think they said 750,000 left to go, which just shows the challenge of getting everyone set up for it. We know that the clients that are affected are going to have to send all of their data in on a quarterly basis. Even the year-end filing itself is different because it uses the new APIs that HMRC are producing rather than the standard self-assessment return that we've all come to know and love. Not sure that's acceptable. Know and love over the last sort of however long you've been in practice. For me, the self-assessment return's been around since it was first introduced in the late 90s, because that's how long I've been working in the industry and producing software since not long after that, back in the days of the electronic lodgement service with the fabulous modems that HMRC gave away that make that horrible screechy sound that those of you that are of my generation will remember. What Bright have been trying to do here is use a really accountant first philosophy. We want to work with you as an accountant or a bookkeeper delivering your service to the client. Can the end user buy some of our products? They can, yes, certainly the bookkeeping side of things, but that's not our target market, and they would have to work quite hard to find the ability to do that. We are serving accountants and bookkeepers and the professionals that serve those end clients rather than going directly after the end client themselves. We also fully appreciate that you, as professionals in the industry, will have a wide variety of customers within your portfolio, and no doubt will require different software for the quarterly filing for various of those clients. Not everyone suits the big digital record keeping systems. Some will want bridging tools, some will be completely paper-based today, and you've got to transition those. So as well as offering our own capability for all of those things, which I'll show you as we go through the demo, we also work hand in glove with any other recognized vendor for submitting the quarterly filing. So we do not force anybody to use any of our products. We have our own offering. If you choose to use those, fantastic, welcome to the family, but you can continue to use whichever quarterly filing system you like alongside both our practice management to allow you to manage all of that work and our year-end filing as well. And we've been in this industry filing tax returns for 26 odd years, I think. In fact, it says it on the slide, so I should know the answer to that. 26 plus years. And across that time span, we've sent tens of millions, of returns electronically to HMRC. So we do know what we're talking about. And I've been in the industry helping to develop electronic filing software since 1997. So what are Bright actually doing and what can we offer you? Well, first off, it all starts for me in the record keeping system that you're using. And we offer a product called Bright Books, which will deal with all of your quarterly filings. It is a comprehensive bookkeeping tool, has a full sales and purchase ledger, deals with all the bank reconciliation, even has stock profiling built into the system as standard. Goes head to head with all of the key players that you'll be familiar with in the industry. And that is our comprehensive bookkeeping system. Within that, as I said, it's got the bank integration through Plaid. So if your client processes all of their transactions through a business bank account, it'll automatically reconcile all of that and assign it to the appropriate chart of accounts. So you can do your quarterly filings for those clients too. If your client is still using Excel and has no desire to move away, we also offer a bridging capability. It will require our Excel template, but you can map and mirror your own through all the standard Excel features and functions directly into our spreadsheet, which again is mapped directly to our chart of accounts. So that will pull in from our Excel template, populate the Bright Books for the quarterly filing. And again, I'll show you the quarterly filing process as we go through the demo. And finally, for your clients that are completely digitally not enabled, sure what the word for not enabled
You're
is,
being
but
very delicate with your expression there, Paul, I think.
I was. I'm trying ever so hard to be on my best behavior, to be honest with you. Yeah, anyone who's still bringing in a bag of receipts or invoices or a shoebox full of them, and I know they're still out there. I spoke to a number of you at Fab who were sort of concerned about that kind of client. Well, working hand in glove with our Bright Books product is Bright Capture, which is our new AI document ingestion specifically for those small clients of yours that are still bringing in receipts and invoices, and I'll show you that in action as part of the demo as well. So all four types of client that I believe exist in the world of bookkeeping for MTD, we cater for all of those within a single application at a consistent price across the whole piece. I'm sure I'll be grilled by Tom on what those prices are as we go through the course of the afternoon. So
I've
Bright
got them on my
Manager.
screen already, Paul.
So Bright Manager, which sits in the middle of that, is your MTD command center, which has already got built into it a number of automated tasks and templates for tracking the work that needs to be done. It integrates with HMRC, so it will pull down all of the dates around and filing requirements. We've got templated communications for the client. And again, I'll show you those as part of the demo. But I think most importantly for me is the holistic client overview it gives you. So you go into a single screen, you see all of your clients, all of their different sources of quarterly filing income, and you can see the status of each of those filings, which you can then filter down to, if you're a larger practice, to just yours as the manager or partner responsible. And you can narrow it down by whether it's just the quarterly or the year-end filing, etc., etc. So you can really zoom in and get a crystal clear view on the status of the filings that you're responsible for, helping you manage the admin of that additional workload that's going to be challenging in the coming years. And the final piece of the puzzle is Bright Tax, which is our year-end filing solution. And again, Bright Tax is more than just an MTD filing capability, deals with individuals, partnerships, and corporation tax, even does simple accounts for FRS 105 and FRS 102 1A. It's a familiar user experience for anyone who's used tax return completion software where the navigation is through the tax form itself. And we've tried to keep the whole process of dealing with MTD clients as close to that of dealing with non-MTD clients as is possible. It includes all of the standard intelligent checks to make sure everything's being done right. It's got all of the computations you'd expect, capital gains, capital allowance, and of course allows that year-end filing, as I say. So enough talk about what we're doing, because I'm sure you're all very keen to actually see it
Well,
in
but
action.
before you do move on, Paul, I've just going through the solutions that Bright does or has have to offer. Looking at it from a practice perspective, you've got Bright Propose, Bright Pay, you've got Informed Direct Integration, you've got Timekeeper, Bright CIS. I didn't know you had work papers now as well.
Yes.
Is there anything that Bright isn't sort of got in the
Is there anything
environment
you
right
don't
now?
do?
Yeah, because it looks
Um,
like you're kind of catering as if a practice should say, well, if I'm partnered with Bright, I can do everything under Bright.
and you absolutely can. And that has always been our ambition. So Bright really started its current sort of foray into the accountancy market back in 2021. And we are very, very well known specifically for our payroll products, which is one of
Mm,
the market leading products in the industry. And you'll have seen various comments about our transition from desktop to cloud. For some people, very favorable, for others, less so. All the standard to and fro in that you expect to get with any change in the software. But what we've been doing over that time, so back in 21, we did a review of the whole marketplace. We looked around, which was before my time at Bright. I've been in full openness and honesty. I've been with Bright for about 18 months now. I've worked with various software houses in the years prior to that, so I've got a good sort of broad round knowledge of our competitor base as well. But what Bright did was they looked out across the industry and felt that the industry as a whole wasn't being as well served as it could be. And so they sat on a mission to find either the best in class or products that had a really solid foundation and strong footprint and could be enhanced to become best in class. And they've been acquiring various businesses over the years. And so I was brought into Bright 18 months ago to help weave all of those products together to create a solid platform which allows customers of ours to share all of the appropriate data across those products. And so we already share all of the accounting data between bookkeeping, working papers through to the final accounts and into tax and back out again. The bookkeeping also integrates and the payroll with our payroll solutions, so the pay run will automatically post a journal into the bookkeeping tool as well. Timekeeper for time recording and location tracking of that. So when you clock in and out of factories, etc., all again automatically syncs that data into our payroll product. So we offer what we believe is a really comprehensive and complete suite for accountants in practice. We are still working on some of those integration points, so they're not all there just yet. The final piece of that puzzle for us is the client management integration, and we'll be going live with that with early adopter customers in the next month or so. So yeah, we're looking to offer a comprehensive platform for an accountant in practice. But again, one of our key go-to markets is the fact that you can start your use of any Bright system with individual products. So you don't have to
mm.
change wholesale. You can come in, and we're also, as part of our AI program and API work, building open APIs so that those products that we'll share across our own suite will also play nicely with other providers.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's just mind blowing how quickly this has all grown for Bright. I remember back in the day, it was Accountancy Manager. They then moved
Yes.
into the Bright group, weren't they? And I remember at that point using Bright Pay, and now looking at the list, it's really grown nicely. So congratulations to everyone at Bright for that. And we've
Well,
already got one in the Q&A as well, Paul.
okay.
I'm not sure if you've seen that one. Is the MTD Command Center different to the task list?
So yes. So the tasks that you're doing to complete MTD will be visible within the task list. So for example, information request, information received, work in process, sent to client for approval if that's part of your process, and you can set out a set of tasks. We have a predefined template of those. But again, you can step in and make alterations to that. But on top of that, we have a separate dashboard, which you'll see as I go through the demo, where you can just go in and see the status of all of those filings, because we'll pull down the filing criteria and dates and times directly from the client's digital tax account with HMRC.
Lovely. Thanks, Paul. And with that, I'll leave you for your demo.
Okay, so for those that one queried client question in particular, this will all be very familiar to you. This is Bright Manager. This is sort of the start point of the story for Bright. So I mentioned earlier, within Bright Manager, we've already added in new tasks for requesting and tracking of the quarterly filings, so requesting the information and tracking those, and also for the year-end filing. And you can allocate those two new tasks and processes to clients en masse, which you do from our client menu and client list. So here you get your list of all of your different clients you've got within the system. You simply select the ones that you want to apply it to. And then at the top of the screen here, you've got bulk actions, which was a new feature that we added in around September, October time last year, I think. When you select bulk actions, it takes you into, because it's imaginatively titled, the ability to apply bulk actions, as the name suggests, to all of the clients that you've got in there. So it was built when we were thinking about these new tasks that were created specifically for MTD, but it does more than just MTD stuff. So here you can see you can en masse to that group of clients that you've selected from your client list. You can add which partner is responsible or which client is responsible. You can select the MTD qualifying year, and you can also determine which accounting system, so whether it's cash or accrual basis. Within services, within the bulk actions, you can apply specific services to the selected clients. And as you can see, we've added in two new services, one for the quarterly filing and one for the final declaration. We did that very specifically because the feedback that we were getting from our customers was that they wouldn't necessarily do both of those things for every client. Some of their clients they may allow to do the quarterly filing themselves, particularly through the soft landing year. I won't say whether I think these things are a good idea or not. You're all grown-ups. You can make your own decision about whether you let the clients do the filing or not. But here you have the option of offering both of those services or just either or. You can also got task assignees, where you can scroll through and select which member of your team is responsible for any of the tasks that you're offering those clients. When you try and apply those changes, it gives you a preview, so you can make sure you're happy with the changes that are being applied, and then you just hit apply, and those things will be implemented in bulk for all of those selected clients. Now, again, one of the things that I think is going to be really challenging with MTD is the ongoing communications and collection of data from those clients on that quarterly basis. So the thing that you have to do once a year, and we've all had clients where we've been chasing them right up to the 31st of January, and then you've got in some cases, the aforementioned box or bag of receipts that get dumped on your desk on the 30th of January going, oh God, I'm so sorry, I'm late, please help me. So I'm very aware that you've got those kind of challenges. So again, I mentioned that we had some templates built in. So within settings and templates, we've got, frankly, hundreds of these things. You can see we've got a custom letter of engagement, which has been updated to include the new services for MTD. But what I particularly want to just scroll through, we've got a number of standard emails that are built into the system. Now, all of these communications, based on the tasks that you've got set up within the practice management system, can be automated. So on the day that the quarter ends, it can automatically send the email. If you want it to go a day after, or 2 days after, or 3 days after, whatever is your preference, you can reconfigure that as you see fit. But at that point, these communications will be automated, so they will be sent on your behalf. Again, you can set to preview them before they go if you don't just want emails to go out randomly. All of these templates are pre-set up and are, as far as we're concerned, ready to go out of the box. However, we fully understand that every practice has its own preferred style, preferred terminology, etc., etc. So, of course, you can edit these templates, and you can see in here that they've got dynamic fields built into them. So, from your customer's perspective, every one of the emails that they receive that are automated through Bright Manager is personal to them, with their contact details in there, their quarterly filing periods. If they've got multiple sources of income for MTD, each of them will be included in its own section. The sign off for which partner it is ties back to whichever partner is responsible for the client. All of that groovy stuff. You can also automate SMS messages out of Bright Manager, which I'm not showing in the demo, but you can do that too. Again, you can automate out the email requesting the data. You can have another pre-canned automatic follow-up a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever is your preference. So if you don't get the information and you haven't logged in that task step is complete, again, all of that admin is automated for you. So standard, in my mind at least, standard practice management capability out of the box. But again, that you can edit. What this means is that your team, if you're a sole practitioner, can spend your time doing the work that is valuable, not faffing about with all of the admin that is going to come out of the back of all of these additional client communications and chasing of data, etc. Now, I promised you I'd show you the dashboard, which in my mind is where the real magic happens, because everything I've just shown, you get all of that set up in advance. You know, you've still got a whole 2.5 weeks or 3 at a push, depending on how you look at it, right, to get some of these things set up. But of course, you're all way on top of that because you've been looking at this stuff for years. All of that initial setup is brilliant, but once it's done, right? You might tweak it here and there to, make the reminders go a little bit earlier because customers are challenging with the data that they are or are not sending. But once it's done, it's done. The magic happens in the dashboard, which you can see now on screen. So again, just to show that through clients, MTD ITSA, and that opens this dashboard. Now here, you can click expand all if you've got a small client base. That'd be nice and easy for you. And you'll see all of your MTD clients. And as you can see here, you'll see all of their different sources of income, whether they're active or not, the type of income, so whether it's self-employed, UK or foreign property, the accounting type, whether it's cash or accrual, and all of the quarterly filings that will be required for that source of income. At the top here, for the particular client that I have imagined, this will be the client name, by the way. I was very imaginative and called them self-assessment. But you'll see the actual year-end filing tucked in there as well. So, and again, you can filter this. So if you're a larger firm, you can filter it just by the partner that's responsible or the manager, or just to see the year-end filings, etc., etc. So you can sort of narrow this down to just give you what's pertinent to you at that point in time. You can also do that via anyone whose date falls within the month or whatever. Although obviously a lot of these are going to fall at sort of the same kind of timing. What's nice about this is you've got this clear visual representation of the status of those filings. So if it's green, everything is good, you've completed the filing. If it's grey, it's not due yet, it will go amber when it is due, and it will go red as it is up here if it happens to become overdue, which obviously, because you're all on top of everything, we hope that will never be the case. But just in case it does go overdue, you've got that clear visual representation as well. And this, again, as I say, you can expand for all. So you've got all of your different clients with all of their different sources of income in one simple view.
With the filters, Paul, can you filter to show quarter updates that are overdue only, or quarter updates for Q3 only? You can break it down that way as well.
So full disclosure, today you cannot. But by the time this goes live in 3 weeks, you will be able to, and certainly by the time you get to August, where it really matters, you will be able to. And incidentally, one of the things we pride ourselves on is taking feedback. So if you see anything in here, anyone watching, customer or not, that you think it would be good if we could do X, Y, and Z, let us know through Tom, and we will happily take that on
Mm.
board as a suggestion and try and build that in. But yes, that is absolutely the plan and the intention.
Brilliant. We've actually got Louise is in her Bright account at the moment, and she says she can't spot the MTD client list that you mentioned.
Yes, this will be live in the April release, which is due to go out next week, I think.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so it's I'm just tantalizing you with what is about to happen.
Yeah.
I should have made that clear though, so hold my hands up. Apologies for that. What you can do from here as well is click on the client name and get a more detailed breakdown for the specific client. So here you've got the various concertinas, and again this will pull information from HMRC, so you'll be able to see the specific filing deadlines both for the year-end filing and the quarterly filing information. And here on the left-hand side in here, where you see the income streams, not only do you get that visual representation, but you also get the next due date that it's pulled in as well. So you can get even more granular detail if you do choose to drill into the individual client. So again, kind of in summary, what we've tried to do is set up all of the new tasks and activities that MTD will bring. So, and each of those tasks has the various stages within it, which you can again configure and change should you wish to do so. You'll then be able to track the progress of those things. The all of the comms are built in automatically with timelines, just like they would have been for the original year-end filing, accounts, VAT filings, all of that stuff. So all of that's built in as standard, and we'll have that dashboard for you from next week. Pretty sure it's next week. I'll double check that, Tom, so you can share it with your
Yeah, that's really cool.
members as well. And so all of that gives you that comprehensive overview. And that, as I say, then our ambition for that is your MTD sort of command center where you can stay on top of everything. So
And the data you put into Bright Manager does sync through to the other products, or do you have to update each, when it comes
so
to Bright Tax, you update
so
them manually?
that goes back to the integration story that I was talking about a moment ago. So not yet is the answer.
Okay.
When Bright Client, our client management system, is enabled, that opens up to us the ability to automate all of the job stage and task completion from the other applications that store that client as well. So, for example, if you complete a tax return or any of these quarterly filings in books, that job stage or task can automatically be updated in Bright Manager. The same with our company's house filings through Inform Direct, etc. So that is going to be built on the back of Bright Client. I don't have a time frame for that at this stage, but
Yeah.
that is absolutely the ambition and the direction of travel. And on the back of that, we're also looking at automating activities across the products. So, for example, if you change a client name in any one of the products and you use our company secretarial product, it will automatically create the necessary company's house forms. And again, at that point, you can either be triggered to view it and have it approved before you submit it, or you can automate that process so it will just go off and send it directly based on the change that you've made, depending upon how much of human in the loop interaction you
Mm.
want with the software. You can choose to automate everything. That is the plans for the next sort of 6 to 12 months on the back of the client management sync coming in as well.
Cool. Your devs have got a lot going on the next 12 months.
We are going to be a busy bunch of people for sure. But again,
Yeah.
all of this is built on the feedback that we're getting from customers and listening to customers and trying to deliver real value that is meaningful and can, hopefully change your lives for the better. That's what we're trying to do ultimately.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So the next thing I want to show you then is Bright Capture. So I mentioned Bright Books, which we will see as part of this journey. But I know one of the biggest challenges is going to be digitally enabling those clients that are bringing in, bags and boxes of invoices and receipts once a year today. So for those type of clients, they're usually fairly digitally inept, to be honest. They don't want to change, they don't want to do anything. You're my accountant, it's your job. Here you go, get on with it. At least from my experience, I'm happy to be told I'm wrong. By the way, these are just my opinions, not the opinion of Bright. And what we're trying to do is enable you to give those customers the opportunity to do something which either A, they're familiar with doing today, or B, is easy for them. So what you're looking at on screen at the moment is basically an email. It's a draft email in an email system. I'm pretty sure, quietly confident, that all of your clients, 99.9% of your clients, have sent emails in their time and know how to send an email. So this is one of the opportunities. The other is through a mobile phone application where you can simply take photos and it will automatically send those off to each of your clients will have their own Bright Capture email address that their application or emails need to go to. So here you can see a draft email. There's a couple of invoices that are attached to it. Here is that particular customer's specific email address. So all they have to do is send that in. And again, they can do that on their mobile phone. Most people these days are able to take a picture on a mobile phone. And if they do it through the app, everything else is kind of done for them. So it's relatively, it's as easy as it can be, we think. So then you log into Bright Capture. So Bright Capture is an AI-powered document ingestion capability. So today it will look after the processing of invoices and receipts, or at least it will do. Again, full disclosure, when it goes live. It's in early adopter phase at the moment. We've got customers actively using this tool. It will be available towards the end of April, we're thinking at the moment. But it's there, it's working, it's being used with customers. What happens is those emails and or mobile pictures come into that particular client's predefined email account. And when you log into it as the accountant or bookkeeper, you will see in here a list of all of the clients for whom you've had emails sent in that you've not yet processed. Who it came from, because your client might have multiple people sending information in, so it's good in case you've got any queries, you know who to go to, subject to the email, and then some attachments. So you may be wondering, well, why do I have to do this? Why doesn't it just process them straight away for me? Well, again, feedback that we've got from customers is they like to have that human in the loop. So this gives you the opportunity to have a look at the attachments and make sure they are genuine financial records, and it's not just one of your clients who you're familiar with, friendly with, sending you pictures of little Johnny's birthday cake from the weekend or whatever. Right, so this allows you the opportunity to make sure that you're happy before you click process, because when you click process, it passes those documents off into the AI processing tool, and that obviously incurs a cost to us, which is the intention is that there'll be a subscription fee and a transactional fee for each of the invoices or receipts that are processed, just like all of the other main providers that are out there today, except probably cheaper, I hope. That's the intention. So that goes off and processes that invoice or receipt. What it does is it extracts from that who the supplier is, what it is that you've bought. If there are multiple lines, it will treat each of one of those lines on the invoice independently. It will take out the net, the VAT and the gross, and it will do the analysis of the different VAT rates if that's appropriate, and extract that into a format for you to review before you push it into Bright Books. So the reason you got that step that you just saw is that, again, if you've got multiple invoices and receipts attached to an invoice, you might send it off to process those things and come back later. When you do come back, you're presented with this view here. So here I can see all of the different invoices and receipts down the left-hand side. Whichever one is selected, you get a preview of that in the center of the screen, and you can zoom in or out depending upon how good your vision is. So for me, I'd need to zoom that in a little bit, if I'm honest. And you can have a look at that, and then over on the right-hand side, you'll see all of the information from that invoice that has been extracted, including, as I say, the supplier details, the totals, and any VAT breakdown that there may be within there. Once you're happy that that information is correct, you simply click Publish. You get a little green tick over here, so you know it's been done. And that has now pushed the information from that invoice directly into Bright Books. So if I move into Bright Books now, Bright Books, as I mentioned earlier, is our complete bookkeeping or accounting tool. It's got sales ledger, purchase ledger, full bank reconciliation, all of the same stuff that will be in all of the providers that you're already familiar with. It's very comprehensive. Like I say, it's got stock take capability in there as well. It's a nice intuitive user interface. We are looking at potentially doing a different interface for really simple income and expense customers as well. Not there yet, but again, based on some feedback, not all of your clients want a fully fledged accounting system. So we're looking at doing a sort of a stripped back interface for those client types as well. What I want to show you today specifically, though, is the next step on from that Bright Capture. So you can see here across the top, there's a notification bar, which if I select, I can see all of the different things that have been pulled in directly from Bright Capture already, those that I've already imported and those that are awaiting my review. If I click New, it will take me to the new one that I've just processed and passed in. So here now, I'm in the bookkeeping tool, Bright Books. Again, if I wish to or need to, I can click View and make sure that I'm happy with the data that's there. Tells me where it's going, which account code it's going to, etc. And once I'm happy, I simply click Import. Again, keeping that human in the loop to make sure that everything that is going through, you are happy that it's correct. So AI is doing the heavy lifting and the automated populating of the system, but you are still enabled to make sure you're happy before anything goes through that final tick and balance.
Can you do that in bulk pool? So if you've got
Yes.
20 that are ready to be imported, you
Yeah,
can
just
yeah,
tick,
brilliant.
tick, tick, off they go. So again, I mentioned that we've got an import tool. So I can, within the toolbar at the top there, I can go into imports, select whether it's a self-employed or a landlord, and then it goes off and I choose the specific bridging template. So this is our Excel template that your client would need to have completed, or you automatically populate from their spreadsheet through links if you prefer. But it has to be in that our template in order for it to pull in, because that's how we know what goes where and which account code to push it against for that bridging capability that I mentioned earlier. What you can also do in here within the MTD setup, if your client is below the 90,000 threshold, you can check the box to use simplified 3-line accounting, because I know that was one of the questions that you guys asked us in the speed dating last time I was here. So once you've done
Great to see that as well, Paul. Great to see that you've got everything, every possible thing you're covering off. 3-line accounting,
we hope.
accounting methods,
We
accruals, and
hope.
cash. Yeah, it's really good to see.
So all of that, however you process it, whether you use it as a full-fledged bookkeeping tool, whether you do it as a document ingestion, or whether you do it as bridging, everything, of course, ends up in your general ledger. And this is where users of the software already will be familiar with doing the quarterly VAT filings. We've now got MTD ITSA as an option in there. And when you select that, you'll see all of the quarterly filing obligations. When you need to do the quarterly filing, you just select the little drop down arrow to the right hand side. And again, we like to have it a bit Ronseal, does exactly what it says on the tin. Click the generate button, it generates the quarterly filing. So being very Blue Peter-esque, I have already created one, so we can view that here. again, because I didn't select the three-line accounting, here I can see the full breakdown of the expenses that are appropriate to this particular client. And I can review everything again, make sure I am happy before I tick the declaration and hit submit. Am I sure I want to send it? Yes. Cross all fingers because it's the first one I've ever done, and off it goes. That is the quarterly filing done to HMRC. And we've got this being used, actively being used by pilot members already. So we know this is functional and working today. So you've seen all of the management, you've seen the bookkeeping and how you do that, even for those bag-in-box clients. All that remains, as if it's not very much, obviously it's massive, is the year-end final return. So again, what our Bright Tax product is our comprehensive tax and also does some simple accounting as well. For individuals, partnerships and corporation tax, there's VAT filing capability in there as well. But what we've tried to do is to keep the whole end-to-end process as close to that of doing a standard self-assessment return as possible. So you simply click the self-assessment return button. The product then looks at what was filed last year or the year before, whichever year the criteria comes from, can't actually remember off the top of my head, and says, hold on, this client looks like they qualify for MTD. Do you want to do an MTD filing instead? And so when you say yes, again, for the purposes of the demo, just to show you how it's done, I've set this up as if I've never done a filing before. So at this point is when you would connect to HMRC with your practice credentials. So I click continue, gives me access to the sign-in pages for the gateway, put in my details, hit sign in, and I am now, as an accountant, connected through Bright Tax. What that means is all of your clients for whom you have a successfully logged 64.8 and the client is registered for MTD, it will now connect to that client's digital tax account and populate the tax form with all of the information that already exists in their digital tax account with HMRC, whether that be self-employment, property income, employment income, or whatever. So at that point, I can go in to view what makes up the return. Again, standard workflow in exactly the same routine as if you were doing a standard self-assessment return within the product. So here I see a breakdown of the different sources of income that are available. And obviously looking at MTD, I've selected a client here that's got self-employed and UK property. So again, all that remains at this point, which will be greater or lesser depending upon the clients, if your client's only source of income is self-employment that is being quarterly filed and there are no adjustments to make to that, you simply review to make sure you're happy and then go through the process you'll see in a moment of sending it. What this does allow you to do though is add in any other additional information, whether that's bank interest, dividend income, or for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to add in a capital allowance to that set of self-employment pages that has not been put in through the quarterly filings. So I've selected the self-employment income, click the little eye icon here to open it up and see it. As we can see, as I scroll through, it's pulling down that information that's already been filed with HMRC. But what I need to do is scroll down to the allowable tax allowances, and I'm going to view and edit because I'm going to add in that this client also had a new van, just to demonstrate that when you do that, it again then will automatically populate those pages. It automates the computation. So I said earlier, we've got capital gains, capital allowances, you know, all of the standard computational capabilities you'd expect from a year-end product all still exist exactly the same way for your MTD clients.
And does Bright do the calculation for you on the screen, or have you got to submit it to HMRC for that calculation first?
Yes and yes. Hold that thought, Tom. So here, check and calculate tax return. It's like we set this up. We for the benefit of the tape, we did not.
No.
Yeah, you click check and calculate, right? So under MTD, you'll all know this. HMRC will do the computation for you. However, we know that you're going to be interacting with your client, and they're going to want to know what tax they're expecting before any of that happens. So we still have a full tax computation built into the software, which you can see here, which follows the same business logic as it always has done in preceding years. So we do the full calculation for you. We also produce this, a tax return. So we have chosen to keep the output of the tax return as close to a self-assessment tax return as we were allowed to do. So it won't have all of the standard HMRC customs on it, and it will say not a return valid for filing and all of that sort of watermarking type stuff that you'd expect. But what this means is both you and your clients get an output that is familiar. Again, the intent being that the questions that you will get on the back of sharing this with your clients should be reduced, and therefore the admin burden of this is kept to a manageable and minimal level as best we can facilitate. So you send this off to the client again, exactly as you would have done previously, so they can see the tax return and the computation that goes with it and tell you whether they're happy with it. So effectively approve the submission. So then this is the new step, Tom, where you send it for HMRC to do the calculation, asks for authority to do so. So this then goes off to HMRC. And again, just like any preceding year, more often than not, the calculation that's done by you, the software that you're using, will be the same as the one that comes out of HMRC or within acceptable rounding boundaries, because that's what you've come to expect. So again, here, when that happens, which will be in the vast majority of cases, you get this fabulous green notification that tells you that everything is well. Your computation, HMRC's computation are the same. Everyone's happy. And at that point, you can then do that final declaration and final submission. And off that goes. And that is the whole end-to-end process complete.
I know it sounds daft, but I love the fact that you've got it in a big green color at the top. But I would love to see if we can in the future what happens when it doesn't work. I'd love to see that process because I think that is going to happen more often than people probably think.
Yeah, so our current plans for that, and this is something that we're still building again in openness, is to have a view where you see, here's our computational data, here's what HMRC have got, so you can clearly see line by line where the differences come from, so you can drill
Brilliant.
into those specific areas for exactly that reason.
Mm.
Again, to try and make the whole process as seamless and easy as possible. And I keep saying seamless and easy. I know it's not going to be, right? These things never are. This is a massive fundamental change. What we're trying to do is to do the heavy lifting and remove as much of that burden for you as is possible through software. We can't do
Mm.
everything. There's no magic, bullet with this, but what we can do, we are doing. So again, just to wrap up, Bright Books, our comprehensive quarterly filing for all of your different client types. Bright Manager to deal with all of the task management to understand where you're at and get a real clear view in that dashboard of everything that's outstanding or already done. And again, there are various reports that you can do around that you can output as well. And then the final year-end filing through Bright Tax. So we believe a really complete and comprehensive solution for you for all of your MTD needs, apart from the drink at the end of the week after all the filing is done.
That was incredible, Paul. You guys have really put a lot of work into this, and it's exciting to hear what you've got in the roadmap ahead. A couple of questions that I had off the top of my head was we're seeing in software land the receipt capture. It's a great facility to have. When it
Yes.
comes to the pricing, is it that you pay per client or you pay per practice? Is there a limit on how many documents you can upload at any time before you start to pay transactional? How does it work with the pricing on receipt capture?
So we're still finalising that at the moment. The current plan is that there will be a monthly fee for access to the service, effectively to cover our ongoing costs of
Yeah.
providing it as there's infrastructure costs, etc., to having it available. And then it'll be a transactional fee per page.
Right.
We are looking around the market to see what it would be compelling and competitive, and we expect ours to be um, very well priced and very competitive. We're debating whether there'll be a number of transactions included in the standard fee. Probably is the answer. Um,
Mm.
uh, the only debate we're having at the moment is should we make it even cheaper because we want people to start using it. But at the same time, we've got to manage somehow the cost to us of the processing through the AI tool and the infrastructure costs of having it there. So it won't be per
Yeah.
client, it'll be per transaction. And at the moment, we're looking at being able to do that at a lower price point than other players in the market.
Which for a lot of practices is quite helpful because then it means the recharging to their customers is,
Yeah.
on a transactional basis. It's nice and transparent, isn't it? You're not having to
Yeah,
finger in
and
the
we'll
air
be
kind of
building
thing.
dashboards so you'll be able to see this is the client, this is how much that client has cost me with what they're processing. And again, why we've got the human in the loop process so it doesn't just automatically process through an AI where
Mm.
there's costs involved, pictures of birthday parties or whatever else
Yeah.
may come in there that's not a financial transactional document.
And question from Louise. So if you had several clients, you could share between them the costs. I think, don't you mean, Louise, because it's transactional, it's per client, isn't it?
Yeah, but the I don't know, let's to be illustrative, right? Let's say it's, I don't know, £12 a month. Um, so the cost of the platform is £1 a month. If you've got 10 clients on, it's still £1 a month. So it'd
Right.
be
Brilliant.
10 pence each if you were passing on the cost of those 10. And then the
Yeah.
transactional fees based on how many you have for that particular client would be my
Brilliant.
suggestion. But again, everyone
And
has their
with
own methodology, right?
Yeah, and with Bright Capture for clients, can they do the capturing on their mobile phone? It's all browser based. Obviously, Bright Pay's doing a
Yeah,
big move to cloud, isn't it? So
so the way that the client will send those documents, and they can be PDFs, JPEGs, don't know what the pronunciation is, HEIC if they're on an Apple
yeah,
device, whatever image format, they can either email those things through, or they can use the mobile app that again is in early adopter programs with us at the moment. The idea of that being they just click the app to open it, take the photos, make sure they're happy with the quality, hit go, and it will automatically send those in for that. So we're trying to make it super easy. I always look at these kind of things through the lens of people that I know that I've had provide services for me and what would make it super easy for them. Because
yeah.
we had some work done on our house a couple of years ago, and I was because MTD's been talked about for so long, and I've been banging on about it for a decade or so now. Um, I've had a lot of conversations with people here when we've had work done on the house and things like that, and they're all terrified of what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. So, I've had sort of, as well as through my career, I've, had lots of conversations with people, so I've got a pretty
Mm,
good idea of what they think is acceptable or not for them to do on a day-to-day basis.
yeah. And one of the things I'm not sure if we touched on it was I noticed you've obviously got that great methodology. I noticed, there was a timeline you were producing. It was Bright Capture, then it went into Bright Books, then it went into Bright Tax. Through those different stages, is it possible to have users set up with different user access? So if I have an external bookkeeper who only works on two or three clients, I can give her access to only two or three clients in one go.
Yeah, so the way Bright Books works, again, you know, they're all much of a muchness, right? And if you look at any website of any of these bookkeeping providers, they'll all tell you they do exactly the same stuff. So I'm not going to say, oh, we do all of this. If you can find something that as a bookkeeping tool it doesn't do, tell me and we'll make it do it, right? I'm pretty sure it's the market leader in Ireland. This is not a new product. It's been
Right.
around for years. It's
Mm,
really solid, really robust. We're just bringing it into the UK market. So
fantastic.
as an accountant, you can choose whether your client has access to it or not. If they do have access to it, then you can choose the level of access that they have. So, for example, you might allow them to post transactional things, but not do any quarterly VAT filings or any MTD file, etc., etc. So, yes, you've got pretty granular control of who can do what.
Perfect. And obviously, Bright has got all the different features, all the different software. If someone wanted to demo them, do you do a free trial? How would you suggest somebody gets in touch with Bright to work out what services they might need?
Oh, now you've got me. This is where I come unstuck because I'm not part of the sales team. So we've through our website, there's various ways that you can reach out and request demos. The answer to the question is there are trials available to some of the product. The way that the trials work varies from product to product. So in
Right.
tax, for example, you can trial the tax product, but you can't do a filing, things like that. So, but there are trials available. We also do more comprehensive demos. So what I've shown is very specifically MTD orientated and at quite a high level, really, albeit though it's still half an hour. You can get in detailed demos of things like Bright Manager to how you run your whole practice, not just the MTD version of it. And there are trials available. Some of the products, the trials are more all inclusive than others,
Yeah.
but phone numbers, websites, sorry, and email contact, everything's on our website, brightsg.com. So have a look there, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Brilliant. And when it comes to customer support, if something does go wrong, how do people get in touch? Is it web chat only with an AI bot, or have you got telephones that are manned?
So we've got telephone support that's manned during office hours, Monday to Friday. Might finish a little bit earlier on a Friday. Again, it will tell you on the website for
Yeah.
clarity. So yes, we have telephone, UK-based telephone support. We also have email support. Um, as everyone does these days, there's also AI chatbots that actually are pretty robust because we've built our own AI capability. We've got a whole team working on AI these days. And they've got so all of the chat is bounded around our own and or HMRC help and guidance and things like that. So when you ask it a question, it's not going off everywhere. You know, we're free reign on the
Yeah.
internet to find an answer. It's bounded around our help content.
That's cool. Now, I would get in a lot of trouble if I didn't ask Robin's favorite question. And Robin's favorite question is, what is your favorite feature with your products?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it's going to sound really self-centered, but I mean, I was brought into Bright originally to make all of the individual products that were doing really well and really successful in their own right become greater than the sum of their parts by sharing information. So my favorite piece right now is the sharing of that accounting data across all of the products, because what that means is that you don't have to rekey any of it as it moves from bookkeeping into and through your working papers into the final accounts. And wherever you make the change or adjustment, it flows back into the other ones as well. And that
Mm.
kind of efficiency gain is where I think we make a real difference between just enabling you to do something and
Yeah.
enabling you to do it better. So what and that's what we're doing with all of our AI work, right? We're not trying to replace human beings. We're trying to do one or two things. We're either trying to enable the human being to do something that they were unable to do before, for whatever reason that might be, or allow them to do something that they're doing more efficiently, better, and faster.
Mm.
Or removing, so three things, I said two, I lied, three, or removing the mundanity of, nobody became an accountant to spend their time chasing for missing bits of data, right?
Mm.
Certainly when I was training, what I wanted to do was to help my clients be more successful and be a real driving force behind the British economy by enabling businesses to be successful. Everyone on this call will know how many businesses fail every year. And our
Mm.
job is to help people understand what they need to do to not be one of those. And anything we can do to help with that is, a win in my book.
A great answer, Paul. If Robin was here, she'd have only let you have one, but I like to be a bit more relaxed and you can have three. That's fantastic. I mean, I'm conscious of time. You've given us so much information there. That was a really, really good demo, and thank you for that. I think final sort of thoughts then. If you were talking to an accountant about Bright, why they should work with Bright, what's so great about the product, if we finish on that and then say thank you to everyone, I think that's a lovely way of ending a great webinar today.
Okay, well, thank you. And again, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for those that have joined us to listen today. So I think rather than talking about the products, because I mean, the products are really robust, they're really solid, they're a great bunch of products. But what I think differentiates Bright is that as a team of people building those products, we really genuinely care about the experience of the customer. And when we get it wrong, we'll hold our hands up and try and change that to get it right. Because any software supplier who tells you that they'll have defect-free software or they won't get stuff wrong is lying, right?
It's
Hence
the
all
same with
of
accountants, isn't it?
hence all of the Microsoft updates that come out every other week, and we're on Apple Macs where I am now. But again, you'll get service packs, you'll get updates every week because there will always be stuff that's wrong. There will always be stuff that could be done better. My commitment as the product lead for Bright is to listen to the customers, listen to the market, and everything I do is about trying to make the experience of using our products and any new products that we build better.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for that. And if anybody does want to look at Bright, please reach out to Bright on their website. It's been a really fascinating webinar. Thank you for that. And on that note, have a great weekend. Oh, great weekend. Have a great
Yeah,
week,
it's only
everybody.
Monday.
I'm done for the week. Thanks, Paul.
That's
That was
it,
great.
done.
Cheers.
Mic
Thanks,
drop. Thank
everyone.
you very much, everyone. Bye now.